Good evening, boys and girls. I hope you had a wonderful day today and experienced all of God's goodness and God's mercy and God's love today as you interacted with His creation, His world. I'm so thankful and honored that you joined me for tonight's episode of Bedtime Bible Stories with me, Pastor Andrew. It was a beautiful day, and I say it was a beautiful day, and people may think I'm a little crazy because it was cold and dreary and wet. But you know, this was a day that God made, and His people should be rejoicing regardless of whatever the situation was, whatever the circumstances were. It was a beautiful day because God gave us another opportunity of experiencing His goodness, His mercy, and His love. So today, for tonight's Bedtime Bible Stories, we're going to continue in on our stories that we've been reading on. We just finished Gideon yesterday, but today we're going to talk about two individuals, Jephthah and Samson. And these are coming out of the book of the Bible called Judges. And so I hope you're ready to join me today, and hopefully you are comfortable and ready. You got your jams, maybe covered in a blanket on this cool day. Maybe you've got your parents with you, maybe your brothers and sisters, or whoever is with you. I hope you are ready for today's lesson and hope you are experiencing His goodness as we prepare to hear His story. When Gideon died, Israel worshipped idols again. The Ammonites made war with them. This was the sixth time Israel was oppressed. Jephthah was the man who set them free. Before he went into battle, Jephthah made a foolish promise. God, give me victory. Then I will sacrifice whoever greets me when I come home. God gave Jephthah a great victory over Ammon. When he returned, his only child ran out to meet him. Jephthah cried out, "Oh, my daughter, I must keep my promise." His daughter mourned for 2 months. Then Jephthah kept his promise. In time, Israel began to worship idols again. So God gave them over to their enemies. These enemies were Philistines. They worshipped an idol called Dagon. This god had a fish's head on a man's body. The Philistines took all of the Israelites' swords and spears so they couldn't fight. They robbed Israel of their crops, so they starved. The people cried to God, and God heard them. Among the tribes of Dan lived a man named Manasseh. An angel came to his wife and said, "You will have a son. When he grows up, he will save Israel from the Philistines. But your son must never drink any wine. His hair must grow long. He'll be a Nazirite priest." The child was born and named Samson. He became the strongest man mentioned in the Bible. He didn't lead an army like a war in Gideon. The things he did to set his people free, he did alone. Samson met a Philistine woman named Timnah. "I want her for my wife," he told his father. This didn't make Samson's parents happy, but they didn't know God would use this marriage. It would help free Israel from the Philistines. Samson went down to Timnah as he was passing through a vineyard. A lion roared at him. Then the Spirit of the Lord appeared in him, and he tore the lion apart with his bare hands. He went out on his way and told no one of the lion. Later, Samson went to Timnah for his wedding. He stopped to look at the dead lion. It was filled with bees and honey. He scooped out some honey and ate it as he walked. Samson gave honey to his parents. He didn't tell them it had come from a dead lion. Samson's wedding feast lasted a whole week. There, the young Philistine enjoyed telling riddles. "I have a riddle," Samson said. "If you answer it, I'll give you 30 suits of clothing. If not, you've got to give me 30 suits of clothing." They agreed. "Tell us the riddle." Samson told this riddle. Out of the eater came something to eat. Out of the strong came something sweet. The Philistines didn't know the answer. At last they went to Samson's wife. "Learn from Samson the riddle's answer. If you don't, we'll burn up your family's house." "Samson, if you love me, you'll explain the riddle," his wife pleaded and cried. Because she nagged him, he told her about the lion and the honey. Samson's wife told the Philistines. Samson had to bring them 30 suits of clothes. The Lord's Spirit came upon Samson. He killed 30 Philistines and took their clothes. Samson was so angry that he left his wife and came home to live. Well, boys and girls, that's our story for today, and I hope you got to hear a little bit about how God continually sent judges, those that would come and free the Israelites from the oppression when they kept doing things they weren't supposed to do. I don't know if you've realized it by now, but Israel really didn't follow the directions, and every time they did, something bad happened. A reminder to us that we have to stay faithful to following God's rules all the way so that we can experience the goodness that God has prepared for us. Well, I think it's time for us to say our bedtime prayer. So let's bow our heads and close our eyes and say our bedtime prayer. Let's pray. Lord in heaven, hear my prayer. Keep me in your loving care. Be my guide in all I do. Bless all those who love me too. Well, boys and girls, I am so grateful that you joined me this evening for tonight's episodes of Bedtime Bible Stories with me, Pastor Andrew. But it's time that I have to let you go and head into bed so that you can get a bunch of rest for the beautiful day that God has prepared for you tomorrow. So with sadness in my heart, I say those fair words that I say. Good night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs right, but get ready for a brand new day that God is creating just for you. Until tomorrow, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.